Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I want to chat with you guys a little bit about what the actual advantages of dumbbells are and why not everyone needs them even for maximizing hypertrophy. We have other tools available. Now, just like anything else, dumbbells are another tool in our toolbox. Nothing more, nothing less. And I think people have a bad habit of getting married to certain ideas and certain tools. But the reality is everything that we use for training purposes, they're just tools in the toolbox. And notice I don't distinguish between different people's goals even for that. I'm going to assume that everyone who's lifting weights is doing so to stimulate muscle growth in one manner or another. Okay, that tends to be the case. Doesn't matter whether you're a power lifter, a bodybuilder, or whatever else. We're usually lifting to put muscle on, right? Or improve body composition. That's generally our primary goal for doing any exercise. So over to the point. Dumbbells, what is it that they do? Generally, they allow us to increase range of motion. Right? This whole idea of evening out one side versus the other, no, not really, not true at all. Even if you think that you're being more strict with a one-arm dumbbell row or a concentration curl, or you even take the time to do one arm at a time, I promise you, you're still probably going to work harder with your stronger side. Okay, that's just a simple reality, unless you know for a fact which side is weaker and smaller and you do more work with it. In which case, I've got to question if you're really trying to maximize growth at that point, right? Because even if one side is slightly bigger than the other, you'd want everything to just keep growing. But the whole idea there would be that even with something like a one-arm dumbbell row, what are you going to do? You're going to cheat more on the weaker side. You're going to be more strict with the stronger side to trying to hit the same number of reps. That's exactly what's going to happen. At least with a barbell, you can remove that. So barbells do not, in fact, train each side less evenly. That's complete myth, complete fallacy. So let's talk about what the real advantages are to dumbbells, because I have plenty of my clients do dumbbells, right? They have access to a full dumbbell set and they don't have access to other tools. Why wouldn't we use them? Why wouldn't we? They're a valuable tool. They're a valuable tool even for increasing your big lifts. So what do? They increase range of motion. Biggest problem we have with a lot of barbell exercises is what? We cannot always take the barbell through our body. Range of motion can be limited. Particularly for things like chest presses. That's a perfect example. Now, for anyone who says a shoulder press, I'm going to disagree. You can touch your clavicle just fine on a barbell overhead press if you know how to perform it correctly. Dumbbells do not increase range of motion for shoulders. They do for chest exercises. Right? They do for chest exercises. So, flat bench, incline bench. I'm going to say the incline, they don't give you as much as they do the others. If someone wants to really, really blow up the lower pecs a little bit and they want to do some decline benching, I'm going to say dumbbells win. Even if you're a power lifter, the dumbbells win. You can easily get another 5 inches of range of motion, if not 6, out of dumbbells on a decline. And it's going to be at a deeper stretch on the pecs. All right? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. What about biceps? Yeah, biceps, that's a big one. And what people need to remember, if you think about the bicep, what does the bicep do? Don't say supination and pronation of the wrist, because that is not strong enough to create a training response. You will never get a bigger bicep by twisting your wrist. Okay? Not at all. That's nonsense. However, what does the bicep do? Flexes the elbow, right? Elbow flexion. And shoulder extension. Okay? One of the heads of the bicep does not attach at the top at the same point where the other one does. It is impacted by travel of your shoulder. When you're doing a barbell, you can get all the way to the top just fine, right? You can curl up to your face if you need to. When you get to the very bottom, in order to have your elbows locked, you usually have to have your shoulders forward slightly. Right? A dumbbell allows you to bring the arm all the way down by the side. Doesn't matter whether it's standing or on a mild incline bench if you're doing an incline curl, right? Your body gets in the way. you have the potential for slightly more range of motion with a dumbbell. Now, that only affects one of the two heads, by the way. The other head of the bicep is not affected by that at all. Zero activation by that shoulder travel. One of the heads is. Hypothetically, in a most extreme case, it might elicit a little more growth potential. Okay? Not guaranteed. You can probably get pretty dang big biceps with straight barbell curls if you really wanted. Chin-ups and barbell curls. You can get pretty big biceps if you're have the ability to get big biceps. I am not genetically gifted in that department, and I do all these different things. But, yeah, a little more range of motion. And we know range of motion can matter for hypertrophy. Does it guarantee more hypertrophy? No. So people who will see stuff like that and say, oh, well, it gives you way more hypertrophy. Well, no, not necessarily. It really depends on a person, what's going on with their total programming. Losing a couple inches of range of motion probably isn't massive in the grand scheme of things. But for a person who's got a weak point, or they're really trying to maximize development, sometimes that can matter a little bit. But I want people to understand when we talk about these minor advantages of tools, they're not game changers. They're not game changers. But they could matter. We could be talking about an extra 1 or 2% growth in a lagging muscle over the course of a year. Okay, so it might matter. Now, does it mean that these things can't always be replicated with other tools? Of course they can. Of course they can. Now, we could argue the same thing with dumbbell stuff. I do not like one-arm dumbbell rows, for the record. I don't think they're that great because I don't like one-arm movements for the most part. How about dumbbell rows on an incline bench, though? Especially guys who need some extra upper back. Because if you care about your middle back, you're not going to do chest supported. Okay, nothing's going to be chest supported at all. You're going to want to be standing. If you want full development, you're going to do like a strict pendlay row. But particularly for guys who are really focusing more on that upper back area, dumbbell incline rows, right? Makes sense. It's a valuable tool. Because of the range of motion, you can pull the dumbbell up through the rib cage. Okay? Why does that matter? Things like mid traps. Muscles all around there. All the muscles surrounding the mid trap. Right? It might matter. It could make a difference. That extra couple inches at the top. Hey, it might matter. Yeah, absolutely. Especially a nice medium or shallow incline dumbbell row with both arms, you bet. It's a range of motion. So we come over to the point of, but are dumbbells necessary? No. If you wanted that extra stretch on the chest, I have a buffalo bar right over there. That'll give you the extra stretch. That will go just as far as a dumbbell will. That can go far enough to hurt you, technically, if you grip it wide enough. You can get the extra range of motion with the buffalo bar you get out of dumbbells. But most gyms have dumbbells and they don't have a buffalo bar. Okay? A dip. Dips can give you a deeper range of motion. Right? They can do what the dumbbells do. So here's what people need to look at when it comes to a lot of these things. When we look at a tool like a dumbbell, it's not about what piece of equipment we use. It's about what happens structurally to the body when we load it. Okay? If you don't have access to a buffalo bar, or you don't have access to dipping bars, and you need a deeper range of motion, maybe you can't safely do dips, maybe they hurt your sternum. Okay? The dumbbell makes sense. It's a valuable tool. Does it mean that one is better than the other? Not necessarily. When we're using these tools, we need to understand why we use the tool. Because if we understand why we use a tool, then we can find acceptable substitutes. When you understand that a dumbbell chest press does nothing more than increase range of motion, and let's say you have a home gym, using that as an example, well, for flat or incline work, you have if you get a buffalo bar, that covers everything you need dumbbells for your chest. Okay? Covers everything you need. Biceps might not necessarily be as easy, but then again, you don't need as many different dumbbells, right? You don't need a lot of dumbbell weight if you're just trying to get a stretch on the bicep. You don't need 50s to do incline curls unless you're a monster. You can always do more reps. So we have to look at these things and understand why we use a tool, right? It's not good enough just to use a tool. Understand what the tool does so that you can understand how to replicate the movement pattern that you want with the equipment that you have available. Okay, that's the key to making it work. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.